Alright folks, and welcome back to another casting conflict here today. Of course, joined by our co-caster Slash. How's it going?
Pretty good yourself there, Red.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So today we've got Beastly taking on Allensis, as the title does say. But we're just going to take a look at our quick recap here to remind you guys where the leaderboard currently stands. And we'll be doing this for every casting conflict, of course, moving forward here. And what a way to start off. Of course, we got Dolphin taking the first top spot, Triple J at the bottom. Slash, how do you feel about today's match, though? Who do you think is going to claim that next top spot, Beastly or Allen?
I think Beastly is ironically a much more versatile player than Allensis, but it completely depends upon their deck matchup and their signature decks. Beastly known for his mono druids and Allensis known for his perfection of mystic rats. I think it's very hard no matter what deck.
Right. So we're just going to have to find out and see, but we won't hold you here any longer, folks. Let's go ahead and take you right to match number 1. And welcome back to the battlefield here. Beastly taking on Allensis, and Mono Druid taking on what we probably assume is Mystic Rats, same thing Allen's got last season. Slash, how you feeling about Beastly's chances here? Because I don't feel like he's going to do pretty well.
I feel bad for the dude. He's got mono druids. He's going up against the best deck in the game. No matter how you slice or dice it, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a hard matchup. I think Beastly is going to be looking here for an extremely strong early game, and depending upon whether or not he can kill early and he can hit hard and fast, this game is basically Allensis' to lose.
Right. I mean, we saw he got the armory down, which is what he wants to do here. He got a little bit of damage in with the guards. Allen responding with double Maddie into the Tarius. Not something you like to see come out of Maddie. Giving Allen that much draw. I think Beastly's going to shut this down now. Thankfully, he's got the Spiny for it. And yeah, I mean, the deck is doing what he wants right now. Just keeping up the pressure, getting in his face. I don't know if that's going to stick for long, though. Of course, one rat draw, and it could be all over. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, Slash.
He's making the right play here. He's isolating that Headwood to the bottom. He's keeping all his units on the field, but it's Rat King. Just there's so many bodies in it. It's so hard to push against it, and just if you get one of those small buffs out, then it's just basically it's so hard to come back. And here we see one of those buffs coming out, which is just doubles the potency of the rats that come onto the field.
Temple, one of the most disgusting global buffs to exist in our current game, given that Chain Lightning is oh so gruesome, and especially if you're able to create a lot of small tokens, they can do a lot of damage. So we'll see if that proves a problem for Beastly here. He's got some options, though, to decide on what his next move is going to be here. Could set up something like a Wizard, go for a Beastmaster, maybe start chipping away at the tempo with Centaur if he really wants to. I don't think that's necessary, but you never know with Beastly. He'll go for the Beastmaster, which is fine.
I just like this Beastmaster play. I would have preferred to see something like Wizard into Ramrus, so that way you get that Bestial Rage possibility and you start getting tempo built off of that. But here we see the Beastmaster pulling out an Onslaught, probably an actually good thing here for Beastly to keep it off of those important cards like Wizard or say Blacksmith, which cause those big global buffs.
Yeah,
he's really hit some lethal territory with this double Blacksmith. I think that it's going to become very, very scary for Allen very, very quickly. However, we have to remember one Mystic Rats in the game's basically over here for Beastly.
Yeah, at this stage anyway with the Temple. I mean, if you could delete the Temple in the time that, Allen takes to find the combo, then he might have a little bit of a better chance. But, I mean, yeah, just keeping that Blacksmith and Armory, keeping those things alive is ultimately going to be what wins Beastly the match here. Creating just a swarm of strong units that ultimately Allen's not going to be able to get over in the current form that he's in now. And I mean, Allen's struggling for draw here. He goes for the Shaman play. That's going to take 4 gold out of the 7 that he's got. So he's looking for stuff to use. And I mean, he's going to go into the Wolf for sure, but that gives Bearhog another buff. So I think Allen needs to play something here. Okay, Elvish Thief going to be the card. That's fine. Now he can block with the Shaman, but that Bearhog's still going to do some good work here. I don't think it can reach Temple with the way that it's positioned unless Centaur comes in first, which is what Beastly is considering at this point. Are we going to go for it? We are.
It's the right play for sure.
Yep. Go
I
ahead,
mean, you're
take
trading on
6.
one. You're trading on one. You're getting all. I mean, yeah, that bear hog just did 12 damage on the board. There's nothing to dislike about that. It's going to die next turn, but still, it's a lovely thing to see.
Right, right. But it is easy for Alan now that we just have the Beastmaster dying to bleed next turn. All we got to worry about is the companion and the wizard, one of which is very easy to take down at this point, being at the 6-1. He'll go for the Matty play here, see what he can pull. He will pull a Sea Witch. That's not going to be useful right about now. Alan will drop down the Armory, and yeah, that does not look good for him. I mean, he can play the Matty into the Centaur, but then he'll have to forcibly take 6 from this wizard here, which we know is also going to probably get buffs from things like the third blacksmith, maybe even the ramrest if he's lucky.
Yeah, with only a 1/3 chance though for that, I think the play here though is actually Beastmaster, getting big units on the field that which you can start pushing down the board. It's always a scary thing though because uh, he has that single buff out and a single Rat King could put 10 damage out across the board, which Beastmaster simply cannot outperform at this stage of the game.
Right, and well, Beastly's deck being the aggressive one that it is, I think he's going to opt to take the 7 here to face. Yep, he's going to go for it, smack 7 directly, bringing Allen down to 4, while also advancing those 2 beasts. Of course, those are pretty big chonkers too, 6-4 and 7-7, not much to laugh at there. Allen does have a Sea Witch, so we'll see if that comes into play this turn. I think it definitely will, especially with that bear positioning. It'll be able to generate Allen some free skeletal pirates, which hopefully might help take down the wizard, or might be able to help control this a little bit better for him. I mean, he's not out yet, but it certainly seems that he's in a bit of an interesting scenario. Or, I mean, maybe not. Mordok hits the board, and now Mordok, the big equalizer that he is, oh boy.
I think the scariest thing for Allen is that at any point, uh, I mean, Beastly can just high roll out a companion, and it's GG. There's nothing you can do to block it realistically. It's very, very difficult to just stop that, especially now that it's going to be doing 6 damage still to castle.
Even with the armor being taken down, the blacksmith still remain unaffected, and the bear providing the target body. Uh, Pirate moving up. I think Alan knows the writing on the wall. He's hoping that Beast doesn't have a companion, which we know, thankfully, for him, he is not carrying one in the hand at the moment. He will get another bard down on the board, though, to kind of looks like continually keep his units healthy. I feel like that's might be the play here. Maybe even Mana Core against the Mordok as well. Keep the bear alive, keep some kind of pressure going. I mean, he needs something. The companion was what he needed, but did not pull it, and that is the way the cards went for him. Beastmaster connecting into the pirate here. Mordok going into the bear. Yielding a horseman does pick off the blacksmith. Unfortunately, that probably would have survived if Bard was down before. But ultimately, you never know what comes out of Mordok.
I, I dislike this Beastmaster push because it's blocking 2 of the cards in his hand from being played, simply because Alan knows that he can immediately get a free pick off of it.
Right. Sea Witch goes in, generates 2 more, and Beastly would have thereby wasted Mana Core health and would have potentially wasted the Ramrus buff. We'll see if Alan goes for it. He will. Beastly will allow 4 damage to come onto his castle from the Horseman. We'll see if he decides to pay for that, and it looks like he will. Sea Witch going to connect to the Beastmaster, like we mentioned earlier. Up there are the pirates, followed with a second Mordok. Oh, that's got to be hurtful. I don't like that.
I really dislike that Sea Witch positioning. It made it so that way he's 2 turns now away from hitting castle again. So not next turn, but the turn after he can hit. Additionally, he's not even blocking face. That top blacksmith could have pushed and dropped, say, a centaur or even a spiny and just won the game right there.
Yeah, you're right. Just all the way up, running it, and then like dropping. Yeah, no, okay, I see what you mean. But I mean, obviously, BC's still not being able to pull it here. He's got the Manticore in the back now to kind of stabilize a bit here. He's hoping the Spirit Link will help preserve his castle a bit, maybe outlast in sudden death. Also, maybe to block here. We'll see if the guards come out too. I don't think they are, which they are not. But Brammer's being thrown right into position for. Actually, no, not Sea Witch. So Mordok going on the Ramrus, connecting there. Horseman, where are you going to go now that you've generated? Actually, we'll put the Shaman out for it. I think this is actually the end of the game for Beastly. I think we've just kind of jumped over that fact, but normally, okay, yeah, no. Lightning Blade's gonna have to seal the deal here. Slash, is there any way Beast can get out of this without a companion?
I don't think so. Um, I mean, he could always be running Leanna, but realistically, I don't think that's an option based upon the curve we've seen out of his deck. It's very, very hard to come back from these scenarios, especially now when we have that actual true block.
Yeah. Now the
The
Centaur.
Rat King is the Rat King is a very good pull here, however, as it does allow him to um, do a whole lot to block and absorb anything coming
Oh
to
no.
the
Yeah,
board. And
no.
as soon as he gets those double draws, oh, and he's not even giving it a try. He knows
No,
that
he's
that
not.
Sea
I
Witch
think
is too much.
yeah, the Sea Witch I think definitely hurts him in the end. He needed that. He needed literally I think a Banshee or the Horseman to direct his damage anywhere else. So yeah, not going to be a win for Beasley, but that's okay. Allen will pick up the win here. Overall, a strong performance from the Mystic Rats, and let's go ahead and take you guys to the post match. All right, folks, and that concludes game number one. As you can see here, Allen taking it pretty in a more comeback fashion, I would say. Did very well to kind of control Beasley's early aggression with the Mono Druids, and he was able to make a comeback. Really, I think just thanks to the Morlocks, in my honest opinion. I don't know if you feel the same way about that.
I sure do. I think that the not seeing Mystic Rats come out also highlights the power of the deck and simple buffs with those late game big token generation cards with the undead.
Right, right. So overall, great showing from Allen here. But let's go ahead and jump into match number two and see how both of these players fare in the rematch. All right, folks, and welcome back. Game number two here, and it looks like Beastly is running the red-yellow. Possibly no interaction here. Might be because I'm seeing Drain Life in the opener. And Flamestorm. That's going to be deadly against Mystic Rats here. And I got to think BC's got the strong advantage in this one this time around, playing the possible direct counter to this deck.
It's especially when you start seeing Flamestorm come out. It's like there's no chance that that your rats are going to do anything realistically this game. I will say, however, I dislike this Incinerate play. I think he should have kept it to go on face and should have played Wizard to scare away that Elvish Thief. But uh, as long as he keeps that coin in hand, I guess he can use it for something else.
Potentially, yeah. I think he wants to use it as a way to maybe get out possibly more damaging combination with an Arbiter. Like turn 10, you play the Arbiter and then get like maybe another Incinerate in the hand. Maybe is what he's thinking. We'll see him go ahead and take a Fear opportunity, though, pushing back the new Saurus that hit the board here, generating another Flamestorm, which I'm pretty sure he's happy about. Can use that alongside the Tarius Files to hopefully generate some more draw for him. I think Beasley's in a great position right now. Allen needs to, I think, start getting aggressive against the deck, but it's going to be hard to do with two Flamestorms sitting in Beasley's hand, which, yep, he's going to show off because he is a Gremlin.
He certainly is, but with when you have two Flamestorms in hand, you can play as cocky as you want.
That's true. That is true. He's considering Drain Life here, but ultimately goes for the Bender, which I think is a smarter move here. He'll also take the 3, knowing that he's protected in a way through Bender. And I think he's fine just losing the Wizard anyway, because he's got a much stronger body behind it. And we'll see Blacksmith. Yep, that'll clean up the Wizard effectively here. Is that going to be all from Allen? I would like to see a bit more. Although, is he nervous? I think he's nervous about Dragon's Fire at this point. He's got to be.
I certainly would be, but at the same time here, it's very hard to simply not play cards when you need to get to that critical double damage and you need to start getting to those big simply ways of building up your swarm to take down the enemy because you're never going to be able to win in a unit versus unit trade or a burn versus burn trade.
Right, right. So we'll see. It looks like the Drain Life hits the board. That'll hit the castle, creating the big bender here. And ultimately not moving to position out a Lightning Blade. I think maybe basically tempting a Lightning Blade in from Allen. He knows that if he does take one, it's not the end of the world, and he will get some Tarius draw for that, although the execution kind of says hello and stops Bender in its tracks. A bit disappointing for Beastly. Now he has to rely on the Horseman to be his only unit here on the board, which gets a good hit. That Blacksmith hit was pretty important and uses the coin to snipe off the other unit here. So, I mean, he's looking pretty happy, I would say.
You certainly can't complain when you're pulling luck like that on the board.
The Gremlin
It's
luck.
I think no matter what, it's going to be interesting to see if Allen has any Mystic Rats up his sleeve or anything of the like that can start to slow Beastly down and start to make him use those big cards.
Like right now, potentially here.
Realistically,
Yeah.
realistically though, I'm not sure that it's a. I'm not sure that there's anything that Allen can do at this rate because we're already seeing right now on the board, basically guaranteed, is 4 damage. And I know lurking or the incinerate is very, very difficult to stop a push from coming in and from simply burning off everything and then just doing 4 damage to castle with those double flame storms and winning the game.
Right, right. Well, looks like Beastly's going to retreat for now at the moment here, not going in with his horseman, instead opting to play the books, getting some more draw, some more resources in his hand here, which I think he's going to definitely need. Things like Dragon's Fire he still yet to pick up, so that could be good for him. And I mean, yeah, he's already got a lot of damage built up in the hand, as you said here. He's got 4 from, Arbiter, 4 from the 2 Flame Storms, and, ooh, yeah, that actually might come in handy here. Now we're facing down a Mordok here. I assume Bolt Flame Storm is going to be the play that we're seeing.
It's
Oh, jeez.
at a certain point, it's going to be difficult no matter what for um, Beastly to lose with this. I mean, he's got 3 arbiters in hand.
Yeah.
I don't see a realistic point in which there is enough of a damage output per turn to stop those big arbiters from coming out.
Yeah, and hell, he even do the Dark Bender. So realistically, I mean, all Allen's got to do is just take out Dark Bender to survive a turn. But yeah, the 2 Arbiters in hand, or 3 Arbiters, excuse me, in hand, that's just going to be the end of the game no matter how you flame it. I don't think Allen can amass 20 bits of damage worth within, a matter of a turn to destroy the castle. So we'll see the first Arbiter come down. Does hit the board. I dislike the fear being used here now, as he could have used that to possibly move something else out of the way next turn. But I get that maybe he just wants to use it to, like, just seal the stamp on it and say, you're not getting to my castle in any form or fashion. Captain moves up. We'll hit the Rat King on the board now. It's going to shoot up. Journey hits the board. Yep. Lightning Blade even on one of the rats. So, I mean, he did have some combo power potentially, but I think he was just too hesitant throughout the entire game to use it.
I think it's definitely far too little, too late, and he's not even trying to block here.
I mean, that would be the ideal strategy to block for because, you never know. But I think Allen assumes there's multiple ways that Beastly could kill him, which realistically, actually is not the case here. I mean, he just needed to maybe block it for Arbiter and then force Kraxus to come out, kept him in the game a little bit longer, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. Arbiter could have just given him the health, but yeah, that's the realistic scenario when you have no interaction going up against Mystic Rat. That is pretty much what's going to happen nearly every time unless some freak scenario happens. So, overall, though, great match for Beastly here and does tie the series at 1-1. So let's go ahead, folks, and take you to the post-match to see how game number 2 went. Oh.
Here in this match, we saw that Beastly had such dominant board control throughout the entire match that he was able to get those multiple board clears with the Flame Storms and has finally suppressed that final Mordok, resulting in a very nice and clean Arbiter's sweep at the end of the game.
Yeah, those 3 Arbiters in hand, absolutely disgusting, but what can you expect from the Gremlin? And from no interactions in general, it's just very straightforward, straight to the point, burn to your face, and that's what we just saw here, so a strong showing for the no interaction for sure. Alright, folks, and back to the battlefield for game number 3 here. Beastly showing us this quick music taste here as he invigorates himself for this next matchup. And he's got a bit of an interesting hand here. Wizard, Spiny Centaur, not a bad pickup to have, especially for the deck that he's running. And up against Allen, who could be drawing out some pretty early stuff, like Hovel and Blacksmith could have been useful there. So he does keep the Centaur, instead swaps out the other 2 for Fat Bard, City Guard. And yeah, he's off to a okay start. The Morlock isn't a great pickup, but I mean, Slash, how you feeling about this one? I mean, it's literally the same matchup as number one.
I bet you, if anything, Allen didn't switch his deck.
And neither did Beastly, I wonder. He's running the Viking.
Well, he has to run. Oh, he is running Vikings. I see. He does. He may have sideboard swapped. I think the Mordok is a swap out, but I'm fair. Yeah, for all we know, that this is still Mono Druid, and he's just faking with the Vikings. It's something that would be very, very Gremlin of him to do.
It's very next level for him to start developing a casting conflicts meta strategy where he runs mono just for the fake out potential of a second color. Could be
It,
interesting.
it's very uh it's going to be a very hard road for him no matter what, simply because it's Mystic Rats. It's what else can you say about it other than just simply Mystic Rats? He has that ramp he's already into. He's threatening that 6 gold big plays like something like Rat King into another blacksmith. It's very, very, very hard to outperform that, especially when you don't have big global damage cards that say
Stop. They'll
either
just say stop, right?
what?
That just say no. I was referring to your global buffs and
Yeah,
how normally those cards against rats just tell them to stop and slow down for a minute. But obviously
yeah,
Mono
yeah.
Druid has a huge lack of that here, and it's going to be an uphill battle for him in that regard.
It certainly is. I'm curious to see why Allen is stalling, though.
Yeah, that is interesting. Perhaps his potential optimal play is gone thanks to the blacksmith takedown.
It's not very. It's not very. Almost in my mind, it's not very Allensis of him to play like this. He's usually a much faster, much more wild style of player.
One who just kind of sees the line and runs on it. That's kind of his strategy, I think. I mean, even when you look at his deck, it's the same Mystic Rat that I think he was running in season one. So I don't know if he's made sideboard changes, but still. We'll see the armory cop down for Beastly here. He's gonna decide whether to go for captain or knight. Goes for the captain, which is smart, avoiding the repost damage, and goes for Dragon Knight as well to eliminate a Mystic Journey possibility, which again seems like the correct move here. We're gonna see the temple stop down for Allen, and that can only mean Mystic Rats is probably not too far behind. And if you're Beastly, I'd be getting pretty worried if I were you.
I think it's very, very. I'd say hard to simply stop something like this now that he doesn't have anything in hand. Oh, and there's the Mystic Rats. I think that's the game, Red.
Yeah, that just might be it. I was about to say, if he does this in the right order, he could probably remove the. Actually, no, he can't remove the blacksmith. It's a little 1 point higher. But yeah, the armory being taken out, the wizard gone. There's just so much happening off of this Mystic Rat that I think Beastly just might lose off of this. Can't even throw down something like I mean, he could try to clean up the Dragon Knight and the Injured Trinity just top deck, maybe even the Fat Bard if he wants to do that to kind of keep some things alive. But yeah, this has got to be the game, and I think we'll just have to see BC do clean up and try to recover. Ugh.
I'm not very. It's so hard with that temple. That temple is such a game winning move.
It's not just the temple. It's just the amount of like look how many bodies off of the Mystic Rats is just there for BC to deal with, all in like one turn, which threatens so much extra damage if not dealt with properly. So
There's
yeah,
not going to be an easy way for him to stop these rats either. He's got to lose something.
yeah, which I think is why he didn't opt to play the Fat Bard. He wants to keep the potential for a global buff. Instead, not even going for that additional rat because he realized, it would take out my blacksmith. It would do more damage to castle. Yeah, just not a good position here. And I mean, if Allen throws stuff like lightning blade or another blacksmith or armory down, I think that's gotta be it. No matter how much recovery BC does, it's just not gonna be enough here. I mean, maybe we don't know if he's got a Viking card. Lightning Blade, Temple could be somewhere in the sideboard. We just assumed it was mind games out of BC. We don't know if that's the facts.
For sure, for sure. A Yenroth here would be huge. I mean, not quite game ending, but you're getting into the a very good position from that, where it would clear the rats, it would allow you to get all those things. Now here we do see a nice clear up from Beastly, but it's not something. It's just too little, too late. I think it's because I mean Allen's only played his first Rat King, and it's just his deck. It's a fast deck, and you're going up against a in many ways stronger deck that it just needs to wait. It just needs to get its timing right, and you win the game automatically. And Beastly just doesn't have that counterplay that he had last game any longer.
No, it kind of just falls by the wayside with what he runs, and it's just unfortunate to see. I, yeah, I don't think there's any sort of recovery that BC can do at this point. I mean, he's got the Mordok, which is cool, but you also have to realize his hand is also something that hurts in this position as well. He doesn't have the resource ability that Allen has. Where he's got some cards like Onslaught to give himself more tools. Shaman, he had the opportunity for Shaman. I'm not sure if it's in the deck. I think it might be. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go look back at our post match, but yeah, there's just nothing I think that he can do. He'll try to Mana Core here. Fat Bard, okay, a little bit more. Maybe even go ahead and connect the Fat Bard in. I mean, the Mana Core technically does survive, and he could even maybe clean up here. I think he can clean up the board for sure, but is that something that he wants to take right now? Actually, no, that is something he wants to take right now. I don't know what I'm saying.
He has to, otherwise it's just free damage on face.
Yeah, I think he's got to remove the Shaman as well. Maybe get some of that going. He's debating if I think he wants the Spiny out, which I think might be a good idea for him as well. We're going to see, yep. We'll see the Mana Core be acting as a Spirit Link there. It'll connect to the Dragon Knight. He could have prevented castle damage if he used the Fat Bard first. I don't think the Wraith is something that necessarily needed the extra attention, especially since Allen could just Mystic Swarm and kill him off.
What a single health on that Wraith is not enough that I would ever worry about it. But if he thinks that Wraith will never die, then that's a great position to be in.
All the confidence oozing from the Gremlin. Oof, and there's a Yenaroth. And Yenaroth on the wrong side. We wanted to see it from Beastly's, and yeah, he's going to draw a Centaur for turn, which is great, but he's got to use it to defend the castle. Not the way he wants to use the Centaur. And if there's a removal option in that deck for Allen, which we know he's got Execution somewhere, this might be the game. Is it though, Allen? Show us the cards.
What if we saw a Rat King Mystic Journey come out here?
Oh my god. I don't think anyone wants to see that. I don't think. Yeah, you just ended off in the right way, bro. Just Yenaroth face and assume BC can't kill you in one turn. Hell, even then, just wait for sudden death if you're worried about your castle health at that point. I mean, BC's got no healing options in Druid Blue, last time I checked. Aside from, like, what? Spirit Link, which doesn't even count as potential heal. That doesn't even count as healing, really. We'll see the Rat King, though. That will clean up the Spiny here. The Rat's ignoring the Wraith, trying to go for, applying extra pressure to face. Dragon Knight is the draw for turn here, and that's going to be it. He can't remove Yenaroth with just the Dragon Knight without sacrificing the Wraith position, and even then, the Rat comes in, finishes off the 1 point for the game. So, yeah, actually, no, I think he could. No, he actually is 1 point off of health. Never mind. I forgot that the Wraith is only 3 and not 4. But with that, Allen does take the series here. He does go 2-1 for our second episode here. Overall, some great matches. Let's go ahead and take you guys to post-match to show you how game number 3 went down.
A very clean game here from Allensis with big early aggression with Rat Kings and a nice display of how dominant Temple can be in the game, and a very, very, very clean cinch out with a Yenaroth and a single Rat King Mystic.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how dangerous that combination really is, especially if it come out early and supported by things potentially like blacksmiths or temple. Actually, we didn't see that, did we? Did we see the any support for that Rat King game 3, or was that just?
We did see Temple on Rat King.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. I thought there was one buff, which it turned out to be the Temple. So, yeah, the combination of, you know, Temple or any sort of global buff plus Rat King and Mystic, especially early on, is dangerous. And for Beasley's deck, that does not bode well. So, with that, Alan does claim the set.